Hi guys, it's the 14th of March, Thursday the 14th of March. It's 6:30ish in the morning, and I have just been told for the fourth time that my surgery has been cancelled yet again. At this point, I am so angry, I don't know what to do. And I'm making this because I need to get this out of my system. Because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to function, and I need to function. Now, the specialist has said, he's the head of general surgery where I live. I said I need to lose more weight. That's fine. For the last 6 months, I've been fighting with my GP surgery to get someone to actually supervise that, because the amount of weight that the surgeons are asking me to lose is downright dangerous without medical supervision on a regular, weekly, fortnightly, absolute outside level. And every single time I've been told we don't do that. Now, there was a point, not last year, the year before, where I went to do, because the only thing the doctors could offer me was their tier 3 weight loss clinic. Unbeknownst to me, this is run by the bariatric surgery department, which came as a horrible shock to me because they were expecting me to have bariatric surgery at the end of it. That's not something that I've ever contemplated. It's not something that I'm willing to do. It's not something that I even entertain as a thought process. Bariatric surgery is dangerous. It has more negative effects than it has positive effects. And from the people that I know who've had it, and I've seen it firsthand, it doesn't always work. And in fact, there's ways around it. So, what's the point? What is the point? If you're not dealing with the cause, what is the point in changing someone's structural plumbing inside their body if you're not fixing the cause of it and the reason for it? Weight loss is a symptom. It's not the treatment. It's not what you have to treat. You have to treat everything else before you start treating that. Otherwise, it's going to be a roller coaster. And they just keep forgetting this point. Weight loss drugs do not work. Why? Because they're not treating the reasons. They're not treating the trauma that people have. They're not treating the addictions that people have got into, the bad habits that people have got into. They're not treating the stress or the mental health issues that they've gone into. Now, the tier 3 weight loss clinic, when I went through it, caused me so much trauma in the first 2 weeks that I had such major executive dysfunction that I was literally in ADHD and autistic paralysis for a month. I could not function. I couldn't look after my basic needs. I couldn't do what I needed to do around the house. I literally woke up and did nothing all day. I might play games, I might watch TV, but I slept and I did literally nothing for an entire month. because I couldn't cope with the fact that they were so disorganized, didn't know what they were doing, and had no idea the harm that they were doing certain people, like myself. So for someone who's ADHD and has autism, they need a routine. Most of us need a very, very strict routine, and we need to try and keep to it as closely as possible. Yes, we understand that life happens, especially when you get a bit older and you're coping with things a little bit better. You have different tools. You can cope with a few changes. I had 27 changes in 1 week with them. I was told that I'd have to be in there for 1 day and I would have 1 online session. It turned into 5 online sessions and I didn't have to go in. And that was changed over 27 emails that literally bombarded me. And if I didn't answer them immediately, either number one, I would forget, or I'd get another email from them saying, did you get this email? So they were immediately demanding immediate response. Now, 90% of the people on there were working. How they could possibly, get hold of emails and answer them as soon as they come through is beyond me. Because if you're working in something like retail, or you're working in the hospitals, or you're working in something else, you don't have your phone on you. If you're working as I was as a chef, you don't have your phone on you. It's in your bag. If someone needs to get hold of you in an emergency, they ring the restaurant. It's that simple, because you can't have a phone in the kitchen. Because if you have a phone in the kitchen, the chances are it's going to end up in the soup pot. Or worse. So there was that, and they weren't taking my concerns seriously at all. And I don't think they took me seriously because I said I didn't want the surgery. I didn't even know why I was there. I was just told that I was there to see the nutritionist. Because apparently that is the only way that here where I live, you can actually see a nutritionist on the NHS is to go through the Tier 3 program. Now, I am one myself, but it is nice to have one to back you up and look at what you're doing and give you support on what you're doing. Because what I have to do to lose the kind of weight they're asking me to lose 12 stone in 6 months. 12 stone in 6 months. Now, there are 16 pounds in a stone. For those of you who don't know, let's work it all out. 16 times 12 is 192 pounds in 6 months. So 168 pounds divided by 2.2, which will give us the kilos, is 76 kilos in 6 months. Now, that's downright dangerous. It is downright dangerous. 6 is way over what I would suggest is a safe weight loss at all. Okay? In that time. That is the extremes of what you should be losing is a stone a month. That's quite high end loss, right? But to lose double that, and they're not willing to give you doctor's supervision unless you go through this program, is downright unconscionable. And to be honest, if I'd suggested it to one of my clients, I would probably have my license taken away. I would be barred. I would not be allowed to practice any longer. That's how serious this is. That's how very serious this is. This is why I'm so angry. The other thing is as well that obviously I have other disabilities. I have physical disabilities anyway, which I had before I had the weight gain, right? So I have major back injury. I have hip injuries that cause me to fall on a regular basis. I have 3 to 4 falls a week because my legs go out from underneath me. Because when I've been standing for too long, which in my case is anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes, my back compresses and I drop to the floor because my discs are squashed against my spinal cord, and that could happen at any time. And it does regularly. Now, I have been told by these people, by the surgeons, that I'm not allowed to have a fall, because if I fall on my front, I could die. Really, that's what they said to me. Okay? Or they would have to do emergency surgery. So if this is this important, why are they not just doing it? Okay? Now, I understand that they're concerned that the mesh would not be able to heal properly, that it may cause more issues later down the track if I don't lose the weight or I continue to gain weight. However, I've been fighting this battle for nearly 6 years now. I've been fighting this battle with doctors here in my town for 6 years. Trying to get help with the weight loss. Trying to get care after miscarriages dealt with. Trying to get them investigated even. The fact that I was gaining 1.5 stones after each miscarriage was a major warning sign that no one was paying attention to. And I couldn't shake the weight. I couldn't get rid of it. So then I end up in a situation where I've gained 12 stone in 12 months, which is a lot. It's huge. It's literally more than 1/3 of what my body weight was. Literally. Which doesn't do my back any good, which is, I know that, and I was saying to them, am I going through perimenopause? They were ignoring me and saying, no, there's nothing to indicate you're doing that. In fact, you're quite young. I started talking about this when I was 45. That's not young. Women can start showing signs of perimenopause at 35. It can go for 10, 15 years. That's the point. But I was being ignored and pushed around and pushed around and pushed around. And seeing doctors that wouldn't have a clue because they're men. And I'm sure that there are great gynae doctors that are men. But there are certain things about the woman's body you will never know because you're not one. Period. And there's something about the medical community right now that is just absolutely the most abhorrent situation ever. Now, I have complex PTSD as one of my challenges I have to deal with, and it has been brought on by a lifetime of abuse from doctors, nurses, medical staff, specialists, surgeons, all of them. And this is sending it through the roof. Now, I'm beyond angry, and you can probably tell that right now. And I am probably one more step away from making a formal complaint over the overarching care that is given in where I live. Or lack thereof of it. Where I live. I've not seen the same doctor twice. Actually, I tell a fib there. I saw the same one 3 times, and then she left. But I specifically changed to this surgery because I was told I would be able to see the same doctor. I have not seen the same doctor twice in that surgery. Ever. And it was that surgery and that doctor who swore to me, to my face, that I would be able to see her and book her, that pushed me over to the practicing nurse practitioner who misdiagnosed my hernia in the first place and said, oh no, it's just because you didn't even look at it. Did not even look at it. Took one look at me and went, oh no, it's your fat. You're a woman, so your abdominal wall opens up. And that's what it is. We don't do surgery for that. And it wasn't until I was admitted into hospital with such searing pain in my stomach a year later that it was diagnosed as the umbilical hernia is caused by a weakness that was caused when I had laparoscopic surgery to have my gallbladder removed 22 years earlier. So yeah, I'm angry. Because all that time I had a ticking time bomb in me. And at any point I could have seriously injured myself. I'm really angry right now. I am sick to death of the fact that my doctor's surgery takes 5 days to organise pain relief for me. 5 days. And so I've been stocking it up because I know that I'm going to need it for after surgery. So I'm getting them to fill out a prescription every month at the moment because I need to do that. They don't give me a repeat for it because of the type of medication it is. But that's what I can take because I have reactions to everything else. And the other part that they don't take into consideration is that I am autistic and ADHD, which means that my neurons work different. My brain works differently. My capacitors work differently. All of this stuff works differently. So it reacts differently to certain medications. Some of them work, some of them don't. Some of them work and some of them don't. And the ones that are supposed to work don't work. Because my brain takes them in differently. My body takes them in differently. People just think, you're autistic or you're ADHD, so it's just whatever, you're just a bit bouncy or you're a little bit passionate about certain things. No, it goes deeper than that. It's your joints, joint issues, major joint issues for people with ADHD and autism, major. Stomach issues, very common, incredibly common for people with in any kind of neurodivergence. Medication not working the way that you'd expect it to. So common. Completely common, especially with pain relief, especially with anesthesia. And it's never taken into consideration. Never. So, and obviously nothing is taken into consideration anymore anyway by these doctors because I have no continuity of care. The last time I had an MRI on my back was 2017. I'm supposed to have one every year. My back and hip. I'm supposed to have one every year. Every single year. So I don't know what's going on with my back. And I don't report every fall I have because there's no point. And I've pretty much given up on all the medical care that I can possibly get in this town because no one seems to actually care at all. And the ones that do say that they do and they'll be in touch, and then they never do. And when you get hold of them, the last time I got hold of a doctor who actually seemed like they cared, they said they would get hold of me when they got back off holiday, and I still am waiting. And even though I've got hold of them, and I was given a time for an appointment, which I wrote down, I put it in my phone immediately because that's what I do to make sure that I don't lose them. And then I was told that I'd missed my appointment because they'd said that it was six hours earlier. And then they turned around and said, oh yeah, we changed it. I said, well, you didn't think to tell me that? Because at that point, I'd been getting ready to leave. And I've heard nothing back. Ever. About it. And I'm done. I am at a point where I am done. I'm done jumping through their hoops. I'm done being poked and prodded and treated like a non-piece of human self. I'm done. I'm done fighting for the right to be treated like a human being. And I don't know what else to say at this point. Now, the surgeon wants to see me in his office. He can see me all he likes. Doesn't mean he's gonna like what I've got to say, because I'm gonna lay it all out on the line. Because as far as I'm concerned, medical care in this town is incredibly neglectful and is putting lives at risk. Major lives at risk. And it's like they just don't care. So, if you're actually watching this and have watched it to this point, thank you. I'm going to go off and make a smoothie at this point, I think. I need to do something. Because I don't know what to do. I honestly do not know what to do anymore. I'll see you guys later.